I'm going to go over SPY, Palantir, and NSC and show you some price targets for Monday. First up is SPY. We ended the week at 460.20. The day's low, 457.21. The day's high, 460.75. This is where we ended. To the north side takes us to 2 standard deviations at roughly 461.14. Above that, at 3 standard deviations and another possible take profit area, 461.96 and 462.76. To the south side, back at the middle of the trend and the baseline takes us to roughly 459.53. Below that, at another level of support and a potential buy-in area, 457.83, 457.08. A gap forms to the downside at 456.66. -4 standard deviations and another area of support, 456.29. The gap closes out at 454.81. I do not anticipate this gap to close out on Monday, but definitely we will be in the range of -2 and 2 standard deviations and then back down to support. The RSI right now is going down, so we could possibly touch this level on Monday. Taking a look at Palantir, I am in this swing trade. PLTR. We ended the week at $17.77, up 3%. The day's low, 17.09. The day's high, 17.92. And this is where we are. Above that line takes us to resistance at roughly 17.93. Ignore the white line. That's a previous price target that we have already met. 3 standard deviations and another level of resistance and a possible take profit area, depends on when you bought in, 18.24. This gap closes to the upside at 18.28. And at 4 standard deviations, roughly 18.57. I never anticipate a stock to get to 4 standard deviations in one day, but keep our fingers crossed that we do hit it. Now, to the south side, this gap begins at 17.44. I've talked about this previously. It opened up on November 1, and we started to close it out, but we never completely finished. So back to the middle of the trend. Let me extend this just a hair there. Takes us to roughly 17.29. If we hit this area from where we are, this is support. So I anticipate a little bit of a bounce or grinding along here, consolidating, barcoding. If we go below that, -2 standard deviations and another level of support and a potential buy-in area takes us to 16.64. $16.33, $16, $15.99, and that gap closes out at $14.97. We are not in that zone, not in that channel, and I will keep you posted when we get there or if we get close, but we're not quite there, just keeping that on your radar. I also talked about this gap that starts at 14.18 roughly. It closes out at roughly 13.94. We are definitely not down in that channel just yet as well, but again, something to be aware of and a potential decline in this stock. If you think that we are in for a depression, a recession, or just going down, this could be a potential area to short into. But if we do hit this line, I will anticipate a bounce as people buy the dip and then down here as well. The RSI is starting to turn up on the 5-minute time frame. Make sure you check the different time frames. Depends on if you are scalping, day trading, swing trading, or investing. I like to scoop up shares on the monthly time frame for investing purposes. Now, the next one I'm going to go over is NSC. Want to point out some gaps to the upside and gaps to the downside. We ended the day here at 221. Above that at resistance at the middle of the trend where price has to go through to get to the upside or falls from the upside to the downside, 224.28. A gap forms to the upside at roughly 227.07 and closes out at 227.35. I do anticipate it to hit this on Monday. And at 2 standard deviations, 228.19, 230.06, and 231.97. And to the south side, -2 standard deviations, very close to also a gap that forms to the south side at 220.34. And then it closes at roughly -3 standard deviations, roughly 218.51. And below that, 216.68. Again, this is on the 5-minute time frame. If you flip it to the 15, the 30, the hour, it will give you different buy and sell signals depending upon what you're trying to do. The RSI turning down, but if we get to this area and possibly below on the 5-minute, I will anticipate a reversal as people buy the dip. Now I'm going to leave you with trade ideas. This is the stock momentum indicator. It's just kind of a fun little relay, a race replay, and a little relay here. Let me drop down some FANG stocks and friends. And here is a look at how we did. And then on this side, here are some of the biggest losers for the day. It's just kind of a fun, again, a race replay, or I like to call it a relay of the day's event. This is on Friday. All right, thank you so much for watching.